Hi, my name is Jackie Pucci. Welcome to AgriBusiness Global Report, where we bring you interviews with executives and experts working in the agrochemical, biological, and plant health industries. Today, I'm talking with Mark Trimmer. He is managing partner at DunhamTrimmer, which he co-founded in 2011. It's a market and global research firm focused exclusively on the biological space. Today, Mark, I wanted to ask you just what your biggest takeaways are from 22 in the biologicals, biopesticide space, and what do you expect in 23?
Well, thanks a lot, Jackie. It's a pleasure to be here. And
Thank you.
what we're seeing happening in the market is a couple of dynamics that are happening globally that are having an impact, a bit major impact on the market. First off, and probably most importantly, the Brazilian market is exploding. It is growing at a rate that's more than double the growth rate in the US or in Europe.
Wow.
It's being driven largely by the use of biocontrol products and biostimulant products also, but mainly biocontrol in row crops. And that has been something we've been watching to wait and see when that would really start to happen. We had predicted, when we first started DunhamTrimmer, we predicted that Brazil would probably be the first country to see significant use in row crops, and that is now really beginning to come to pass. The majority of biological products sold in Brazil are used in the major row crops. Now, we contrast that to the US, only about 10% of our products are used in row crops. The vast majority of biocontrol products are used in the specialty crops, the fruits and vegetables and tree fruit and tree nuts. So it's a much different dynamic that's occurring in Brazil. The second big thing that's happening right now is I'm beginning to see signs of market maturity in Europe and in US, and especially in Western Europe. And that's a factor that in both of those regions, historically, the major use has been in those specialty crops. And we're reaching a point where the market is maturing. Most of the needs have already been filled by products. There's a lot more competition than there was 5 or 10 years ago. So for further growth to really occur in a dramatic way in those regions, we're going to need to see them expand into other crop segments. So that's going to be important for future growth. But we're seeing that the growth rates in those two regions starting to drop down into the single digit range, definitely by the end of this decade.
How much are row crops growing, the adoption into row crops, though?
We're seeing some growth for sure, but there's still in the northern hemisphere. It's a slow adoption rate in row crops for sure, and it really comes down to two things, I think. First off, within row crops, especially in North America, the predominant need for pest control is weeds. There is a total absence of effective bioherbicide products. Most bioherbicides are not selective. They don't have long-term residual control of the weeds. So a grower just has no option there to use a biocontrol product, and that represents nearly half of the crop protection market in row crops. Then you go to, what are some of the secondary pests? There's some insect pests that are very important, but many of those in North America are being effectively controlled with GMO crops. So that leaves fungal diseases and things of that nature. There's a little bit of use of biocontrol products there, but it still remains a minority. It really is an area that we have not seen a big breakthrough yet, like is occurring in Brazil.
Is that a big area of focus, do you think, for a lot of companies then? Is that the key?
There's a number of companies that are looking at that area, especially there's a few that are looking actually in the weed control area with a focus on resistant weeds. So weeds that have resistance to glyphosate, other chemical pesticides. And I think that's a smart play because they only have to focus on a few species of weeds rather than the entire spectrum. If they can develop an effective bioherbicide that is a good mixer product with the chemical, it would be an excellent way to manage pest resistance development.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a few companies out there that are really focused in on that and hoping to make a breakthrough in that area.
Can you just talk a little bit more about the Brazilian market too, just what has been driving it? And I don't know if you can get more specific on companies and products.
Yeah. Well, there's a broad range of products, but the key drivers I think are, number one, their regulatory system has gone through a number of changes over recent years, which has made it much easier to introduce products into that country.
Okay.
5 years ago or a little bit more, when we looked at Brazil, we saw a regulatory system where it routinely would take 3 to 4 years to bring a product to market. And today, you can bring a new product onto the market in less than a year.
And that's just for biologicals.
It's for all products, really.
Okay.
Biologicals have benefited significantly. There are also, though, government initiatives to support biologicals that assist companies that are starting up in this space, providing them with funding opportunities through the government, but also policies that encourage growers to use biologicals more frequently. So all these things are coming together. Now, if you ask about specific products or product types, I would tell you the area of growth that we're seeing the most is with microbial products and specifically with bionematicide products. And there's a wide range of companies that are bringing these to the market. But, nematicides are a significant problem for production in Brazil. And the biologicals really seem to have found a strong niche there as either seed treatments or soil applied products for control of nematode problems in row crops.
In both soybean and corn?
Soybean, corn, cotton, and a few others as well.
Okay.
It's a huge market, obviously. And, right now today, Brazil represents, I think, about 60% of the total Latin American market. And by the end of the decade, I think they may grow to as much as 70%.
Okay.
So they're growing faster than the other countries in the region for the most part.
Okay. So would you say that their regulatory framework is friendlier to biologicals than in the US? And
I don't think it's significantly more friendly than the US. Possibly a bit now. They have improved a lot. But they're definitely significantly more friendly than Europe.
Okay.
Europe has a real challenge because the introduction of microbial products, especially novel microbial products into Europe, is extremely cumbersome. Can routinely take a company 6 to 10 years to bring a new product. And it's just, as a result, when we look around the world and see what the percentage of the market is captured by microbial products, and in the US and Brazil, it's somewhere around 50 to 60% of the market is occupied by microbial-based products. In Europe, it's more like 10 to 15%.
Okay.
It is a dramatic difference. And this is occurring at a time when Europe has other initiatives where they're trying to reduce the number of chemical pesticides available. So to be, conflicting policies that the European government is promoting, because on one hand, they're trying to remove chemicals, but they're not making it more friendly for biologicals to enter the market.
Other markets beyond, I don't know how much, I don't know if you can talk about Asia, any other regions of interest that have been growing.
Yeah, if we look at the market in 2021 on a global basis, it's about $5 billion excluding PGRs. If you include the PGR type products, it's about $6.2 billion.
Okay.
Um, of that market, about a third is in North America. In 2021, about 25% is in Europe, and about in Latin America captures about 20% each, with the remainder being in what we call rest of world, which is basically African and Middle Eastern countries. Now, if we look forward to 2029, those percentages we see are going to change dramatically because of
29.
that rapid growth in Brazil in the row crops. We see Latin America going from a 20% share in 2021 to nearly 30% by 2029.
Okay. Wow.
They are going to surpass Europe by a wide margin, and they're going to be essentially equivalent to the North American market in size at that time.
Okay.
And Asia is also growing, not as fast as Latin America though. So they're going from about that 19 to 20% range. They're going to grow to about a 22% share by 2029. Asia is growing based on, first off, the diversity of crops, but we're seeing more use of biologicals occurring in China, in India, and some of the other major producers in Southeast Asia.